राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी माधवा जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरवरधारी जय गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरवरधारी जय गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जन जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय जमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jai Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Shri Radhe Jai. Jai Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Shri Radhe Jai. Jai Gauranithai, 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 Jai Gauranithai, Jai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev, Jai Jai Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jai Jai Guru Dev. जय श्री श्री राधा गिरधारी भगवान की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताई भगवान की जय, डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम ज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखावितं श्री कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये कल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Welcome to this morning program, Bhagavatam class. So we'll start with Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita first, page 1518. So page 518, the title is Beyond the Lower East Side. Swamiji saw each of the nearly 12 dishes through its final stages, and his disciples carried them into the front room in pots, one by one, and placed them before the picture of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was halwa, dal, two sabjis, fancy rice, puris, samosas, sweet rice, apple chutney, and gulab jamuns, corn bullets, gulab jamuns. Prabhupada had personally spent much time slowly deep frying the sweet balls on a low heat until they had turned golden brown and full. There is a technique for cooking gulab jamuns, not very high heat, otherwise it will go black and inside will be still raw. Prabhupada, perfect. Then one by one, he had lifted them out of the ghee with a slaughtered spoon and put them to soak in sugar syrup. He recognized that these golden ghee fried milk balls soaked with sugar water were his disciples' favorite prasadam treat. He called them scorn bullets because they were weapons in the war against Maya. Yes. He even allowed that a jar of scorn bullets floating in the syrup be always on hand in front room, where his disciples could take them without asking permission and without observing any regulated hours, anytime, 24/7. They could take as many as they like. Wow. Kirtanand brought in the samosa filling, which he had prepared from spinach and green peas, cooked into a paste, and which the Swami had heavily spiced. Oh, Prabhupada spiced it, the filling. Stuffing the samosas was an art, and Swamiji showed them how to do it. A great teacher and acharya. Teach by example. Yes, he took a semicircle of the dough, shaped it into a canoe, stuffed it with a spoonful of filling, and then folded the top over and sealed it. A samosa, ready for the hot ghee. Achyutananda carried the imperfectly shaped puris into the kitchen when he and Kirtananda deep fried them, two at a time. If the temperature of the ghee, the consistency of the dough, and the size, shape, and thickness of the puris were just right, the puris would cook in only a few seconds, rising to the surface of the ghee where they would inflate the little balloon, like little balloons. The cooks then stood them on edge in a cardboard box to drain off the excess ghee. As they completed the last preparations for the feast, Swamiji's disciples washed the stiff dough from their hands and went down to the storefront, where they set out the straw mats and awaited the guests and the feasts. Upstairs, Swamiji had a couple of his cooks offered all the preparations to Lord Chaitanya, reciting the Parampara prayer. So Srila Prabhupada has and his disciples have prepared a feast, and on I don't know what occasion, maybe Sunday feast, and they are waiting for the guests. It has been offered, ready for the kirtan class, and then prasad. Okay, we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I was mixed up with the today's verse 8, 4:28, 21. Too many twos there, so I was, I know. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So I had the wrong verse with me. Okay, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, Text 21. I was definitely given the right verse, and while preparing and doing that, somehow I confused myself. Old age. Let's see. Okay, there you are. Puranjana becomes, really this one, Puranjana becomes a woman in the next life. Okay. So I was totally in a different one. Okay. We'll try to recite the verse. Katham no daraka dina. Katham no daraka dina. Darakir vaprayanaha. दारकिर्वा प्रयाणः वर्तिष्यन्ते मयि गते वर्तिष्यन्ते मयि गते भिन्ननावायिवो दधौ भिन्ननावायिवो दधौ कथं नु दारकादीना दारकिर्वा प्रयाणा वर्तिष्यन्ते मयि गते भिन्ननावायिवो दधौ कथं नु दारकादीना दारकीर्वा परायणाः वर्तिष्यन्ते मयि गते भिन्ननावायिवो दधौ कथं नो दारकादीना दारकीर्वा परायणाः वर्तिष्यन्ते मयि गते भिन्ननावायिवो दधौ कथं नो द्वारकादीना Mataji, wanna try? Okay, we'll read word by word. Katham, how? Nu, indeed. Darkaha, sons. Dinaha, poor. Darkihi, daughters. Va, or. Aparayanaha, having no one else to depend on. Vartishyante, will live. My, when I gate, gone from this world. Bhinna, broken. Nav, boat. Eva, like. Udadho, in the ocean. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, King Puranjana continued worrying. And this is his worry. After I pass from this world, how will my sons and daughters, who are now fully dependent on me, live and continue their lives? Their position will be similar to that of passengers aboard a ship wrecked in the midst of the ocean. Please repeat. King Puranjan continued worrying. After I pass from this world, how will my sons and daughters, who are now fully dependent on me, live and continue their lives? Their position will be similar to that of passengers aboard a ship wrecked in the midst of the ocean. Report. At the time of death, every living entity worries about what will happen to his wife and children. So here in this case, the fathers or the males worry about their wives and children. Similarly, a politician also worries about what will happen to his country or his political party or election in India. Unless one is fully conscious, he has to accept a body in the next life according to his particular state of consciousness. Since Puranjana is thinking of his wife and children and is overly engrossed in thoughts of his wife, he will accept a body of a woman. Wow, let's see. Similarly, a politician, so-called nationalist, who is inordinately attached to the land of his birth, the country, will certainly be reborn in the same land after ending his political career. One's next life will also be affected by the acts one performs during his life. Sometimes politicians act most sinfully for their own sense gratification. It is not unusual for a politician to kill the opposing party. Even though a politician may be allowed to take birth in his so-called homeland, he still has to undergo suffering due to his sinful activities in his previous life. This science of transmigration is completely unknown to modern scientists, not aware. So-called scientists do not like to bother with these things because if they would at all consider this subtle subject matter and the problems of life, they would see that their future is very dark. Thus, they try to avoid considering the future and continue committing all kinds of sinful activities in the name of social, political, and national necessity. Okay, so let's look at the verse translation. King Puranjan continued worrying. So he was worrying about his wife and children. And that means he knew he was going to leave the planet or he was about to die. So he's thinking, after I pass from this world, how will my sons and daughters, my children, who are fully dependent on me, live and continue their lives? And their position will be similar to that of passengers aboard a shipwreck in the midst of the ocean. Okay. So this is a common anxiety that hopefully everyone faces in their lives, even we all devotees to. Worrying about our children's future, unless they are grown-ups now, so don't worry too much about them. In my case, I'm not really worried about my children anymore because they are grown-ups and fortunately they are in this movement. Now it's their life and they are going to live it. They are following Prabhupada's movement and they are disciples of His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So I'm not worried about them, but I do guide them, sometimes, yeah. And I have grandchildren too. Not worried about them either. They are in the good hands of my children. They should guide them and while giving them material education and material facilities, they should also provide them with spiritual knowledge. That's the duty of the parents. Parents must do that. It's only happening in the ISKCON movement and some good Vaishnavas in India, But most of the parents don't care about spirituality. Spirituality, no. You must have seen in your families and around the villages. Most of them are just interested in material things, um, education, good jobs, wife, get married, have children, properties. It is part of life. We should not neglect that. No, we don't say that. Prabhupada never said, don't give education to your kids. No, ISKCON doesn't say that. Yes, give everything. Give all the knowledge, material knowledge as well as spiritual knowledge. We must give that to our children. We must practice it ourselves. Then our children, little ones, will watch and observe and follow. That's how they learn. Since I'm a school teacher, we hear little children swearing in the school. They use a lot of F words because their parents in the home, they use it as a common thing. They don't mean it to say, everyone, I mean, the high school students, we hear them when you go past them, they just use it so much. So this is because it's happening at home and their environment, and they learn from that. It's a common thing now. So fortunately, we devotees, we know what is actually right and wrong, at least. And we should set good examples to our children and give them the right education, material as well as spiritual, by, as I have mentioned, by doing ourselves and also engaging them. Give them little things to do. They love it. I know your little ones, I have noticed my grandchildren, they want to do arti when we do arti. And they burnt my carpets. My little one was doing arti and the wick fell down on the carpet. So, so this happens. But yeah, so we should give them this opportunity, but be careful. Hold their hands, and they want to do it actually. So give them the opportunity. Don't stop them. In our case, we will stop. Don't do this, don't do that. Stay away from the harmonium. Don't touch it. In our times. But now we give them all the opportunities. Yeah. So yes, so that's how they start learning, and they will just imbibe it. It will be a natural thing for them. Nothing new when they grow up. Although they might forget once they become teenagers, they won't forget actually, but they will be more inclined with their friends and all that in the school, and they might be aware. They will stop chanting. Don't force them to chant, but give them a little mala. No, little one, not 108 beads. Give them a little one, maybe 10 beads for the little ones to chant. They'll enjoy it with you. Yes, so all these things can be done, but we have to be patient, and we don't force it on the children. Make it something that they will enjoy doing it. Engage them. Be part of everything. Cooking too. They like to cut sabjis and roll the roti. The little ones, they copy and they want to do it. I've seen my daughters giving, okay, Gadai, you do that. Gadai is doing the roti. Okay, so once you do all these things, then you don't have to worry about your children. But Puranjan is worried about his children, his sons and daughters. And he says, they are fully dependent on me. We have to make our children independent. Gradually, as they grow, they can do things for themselves. Start with little things like packing their school bag, packing their lunch. Parents, I know, they teach them all these things. Wonderful. So, have you read a story about shipwreck? Any stories you remember in the school you read about? Shipwreck. Titanic is the real one. Any fiction in the school? I have, who's that? I can't remember, but there are lots of exciting stories on shipwreck. And then they survive on an island, uninhabited island. Eh, Island of the Blue Dolphins. Yes, I have read that. Yes, yeah. In our, in Fiji, we used to read some of those in our literature. Anyway, so you have, so in that case, if the ship is wrecked and you are close to an island, then you somehow you survive, go to the island, swim with the pieces of wood or whatever floating. Or if you know how to swim, you can go. And then you have to survive there on that island. You have never been there. You don't know what is in the bush, aliens or some ferocious animals, and So in the midst of the ocean, I can't remember. I read a nice story in Form 5. Somebody, a child, was stopped from going to the ocean because one of the family members died while swimming in the ocean. So the parents said that to that boy, don't go and swim. It's just like that movie. What is that one? The famous one? The island movie, Pacifica one. That canoe. You didn't watch that? I can't remember. Anyway, so one day this boy grew up and he said, he thought, okay, I'm going to go by myself alone. And he took a canoe and few things he put there, his food, coconuts and other stuff, and he rode. And he drifted to far away to another island. And there he had all the adventures there. And then one day he came back. The parents were very happy to see him. Good ending. Anyway, so Puranjan was worried about them, his children. Anything else you want to comment on this point? Oh yes, look, we'll go to purport now. It's about at the time of death. So what is the famous verse? Antakale chamameva smaran muktava kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. What is that? 8.5? 8 point something. Let me see. Krishna says, Antakale chamam eva. 8.5. Yeah, Krishna says, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So Prabhupada clearly lights a lot of good points in this purport. King Puranjan was thinking about his wife and children at that particular time, that critical time. So the most important thing is Antanarayana Smritihi. Antanarayana Smriti. If you are able to remember the Radha and Krishna at the end, at the final breath or moment, you are successful in your life. It's so important to remember Krishna or chant his name or somehow remember Krishna or say Krishna or Hare Krishna mantra. This is what we are all training for. The whole thing we are doing, all this puja, the prayojana, the goal is to remember Krishna and never forget him. That's the ultimate thing. And we know in our lives, the current life, when we are busy with our work, we don't remember Krishna. But that's okay. You can do it when you go back or while you are driving back home. And that it's intense when you are at work. Workload, pressure, you have to complete this, and then so many problems arise, especially when I'm at school. looking after so many kids, and we have different kinds, Hare Krishna. All sorts of kids are there, but I'm doing relief teaching, and I'm in a special needs school. And this term I started a new class with new students and new learning assistants. Everybody was new, a new classroom. It wasn't easy to start with 8 children, special needs, non-verbal, mentally aggressive, very aggressive, and using all those words, 2 or 3 of them, not sitting. You don't expect all these things, nice children. Even the normal children don't behave well. So what to speak of these special needs? You can't blame them. Anyway, so it wasn't easy. I'm still there. So the new teacher is coming this week. Next week. So I'll hand it over to her and I'll go back to my relief work. So it's not easy. What I was talking. Yes. So remembering Krishna at the time of death. I was talking about work pressure. There's no time to remember Krishna when we have to be, every minute we have to supervise the kids. Keep the gates locked. When we are outside, you have to supervise, otherwise they'll run away somewhere. And if they are on the road, they can run on the road. They don't know about traffic and all that. They'll just go and smash themselves. So we have to be really, really vigilant about special needs children. If they are out and something happens, we are gone in the prison. Because it's a big responsibility. Their safety is paramount. Anywhere in the normal classroom too, safety of children are paramount. The responsibility of the teachers. If something happens, I will be questioned. We are answerable to the authorities. Anyway, so I was talking about work pressure. So I know how many of you work, but when you go to work, see what happens. Your mind is very busy. So it's hard to remember Krishna, but when you have your lunch or tea time or a break, please do remember him for some time at least. So remember that. So it's not easy. So here you can see Prabhupada writes, unless one is fully Krishna conscious, he has to accept a body in the next life according to a particular state of consciousness. So it's so important to, you still have a lot of time. I might have 5 or 6 or 10 years left for my lifetime. But young ones, do your best and you should try to remember Krishna. We all should try to remember Krishna. The thing is that we have to do it now. Don't wait for the last minute. You can't do it. Do it now. Practice. Do your devotional service, your sadhana, guru nishtha, all these things. Try your best and do it in the best possible way. With your heart and soul. Give full. 100%. So if you don't, then it's very hard to remember Krishna at that critical time. But there are so many things. Like if you are in coma at the time of your final time, you are on the deathbed, and you have done a lot of service to your deities, to Vaishnavas, to your guru, and you think, what will happen? What will happen in that time when you can't remember Krishna when you are in coma? So what do you think will happen? 100%. Krishna never forgets. If you do a little, like offer a beautiful flower to his lotus feet, Krishna never forgets that. A little seva you do, he never forgets you. So he will remember you and he will make arrangements. So don't worry. But presently we do our best. So good point. Here Prabhupada writes, it's a warning to the males, husbands. Since Puranjan is thinking of his wife and children, and in is overly engrossed in thoughts of his wife, he will accept the body of a woman. So it's so important what you remember. Again, that same point is being driven here by Srila Prabhupada. So in that sense, there's a katha, you know the katha of Ajamila, isn't it? Most of you know the katha of Ajamil. He was a great Brahmana son. He was very much doing all his Brahminical work with his dead parents. And then one day he went to get firewood from the forest, and he unfortunately he saw Shudra and Sudrani embracing each other. And he saw that lady and he got attracted to the lady. Although he was married, he came back, his consciousness was now attached to that lady, so he left his wife, somehow found that lady, and he went and stayed with that lady, and he had to do so many horrible things to please his second wife. She wasn't a good lady. So he did a lot of sinful activities, stealing and all that, to fulfill her desires. And then he had about 10 children. And then he was 80 years old. 80 years old, and he had a son, about 5-6-year-old son, and he was very attached to. Luckily, he was attached to his son. And somehow, I think by the blessing of Sri Narad Muni, he gave his son's name Narayana. Yes, Narayana. So it's good. In the olden days, all the parents gave their children's name in the name of the Lord. Ramdas, Bridge Narayan. My brother's name was Bridge Narayan. Now I know why. Braj, and Narayan. Braj Narayan is Krishna. What a beautiful name. Shambhu, Shambhulal, son of Lord Shiva. Shambhu. Beautiful names, eh? But my name is Vijay Kumar. So I don't know what it is. Well, Vijay means victory. Okay, so now, so we are so lucky Prabhupada has brought back the same culture in ISKCON, and we're giving our children's name in the name of deities and great sadhus and mahatmas, and we call them all the time. Like my grandson is Gadai Gorango. Gadai, come here. The other one is Keshav. Another one is Pralad. So we gave them those names. So at the age of 80, when it was time for him to go, he was lying in his bed, deathbed, like this, eyes open, and suddenly he saw the Yamdutas up there, hovering over him, horrible looking. He got scared. He never knew who they were because he forgot everything. So when he saw them, he was really terrified. And he called the person whom he was not his wife, he was attached to. Narayan, Narayan! He was scared, and then Narayan, of course, that Narayan came. As soon as he said Narayan, Narayan, he saw the others coming, Vishnu Dutas up there. And then they had the conversation, Vishnu Dut and Yamadutas. And Vishnu Dut said, you can't take him. Don't you know the scriptures, the philosophies? And they said, no, we have been taking all the sinful people. No one has stopped us. Until now, we have to take him to Yamalok. Now you can't take them. Take him. because he has chanted the name of the Lord at the end of life. But did he go back home, back to Godhead at that time, Ajamil? Yes. Yes. What happened? Then he saw both of them disappeared, gave them another chance. Have you read the book, Second Chance? Read that book. It's about Ajamil. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada has written basically this story, this katha about Ajamil, a second chance. He was about to go, but he was given a second chance to live again. So then, as soon as they were gone, then the realization came, what did I do? I left my chaste wife, my parents. Look what I did. So he left everybody again, even Narayana. Go away, Narayana, his wife. He left everybody and went to Haridwar and, Tirath Yatra, and then he did his sadhana again. After 2 or 3 years, another 2 or 3 years, then time to go. He was ready. Then the Pushpak, I don't know, the flower airplane came, and the Vishnu Duta took him home back to God. Wow. Well, so that's the story of Ajamil appropriately in this context. So, Prabhupada, there are so many good points. You can read it at home when you go. He's talking about these political people. We don't have to talk about them. They have their own agendas. They want to win election. India is really in hot, really going. First is the last day for election. I am following it too. I don't know why. Because I want India. Because I want Modi to come back. He did so many wonderful things. Ram, now Krishna temple will be built later, soon. Krishna, that place, Mathura, is still in the same old little temple, and there's a big mosque there. So yeah, that's why I think I'm following it. I want him to come back and continue. Okay, so yeah, today is 1st June. So today is the last day of election. 4th June, the results will come out. What is the number they want? You also following. Ab ki baar 400 par. I'm telling you, that's their slogan. They want to win 400 plus seats, Modi, out of 572 in Indian election. Okay, come back. So politicians they're doing so many things. And very hard to find really honest politicians nowadays, because they are not aware of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all this knowledge. They just go for their own sense gratification, own family, build their family, make money, help their family members. That's all. Their children, and also do corrupted work too, which is very prominent in India. If you watch the news, all over the world, not only India. Okay, so Srila Gurudev said, we should choose good leaders. In one of his lectures, Gurudev said they are not leaders, but they are misleaders. Mislead the people, the politicians. They are not leaders, but misleaders. Yes, most of them, unless they are, they are aware of the scriptures and their traditions and all that. If they don't do that, how can they lead the people to the right, even the country to the right direction? Okay. So whatever we do throughout our life also impacts what we'll remember at the end of our life. So that's why Prabhupada has given us all the program for every morning and all this chanting, reading, hearing, all these things. Do it every day so that we are able to purify ourselves, purify our heart, our consciousness, and ultimately we can, remember Krishna always. There are so many things. Sister Ashtakam, please read that and remind ourselves. That's why we read every day. Sister Ashtakam in all the temples. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reminds us what is expected, what we should be doing every day. I'll stop here. There are lots to say about this topic, but yes, yes, comments and questions. Remember, we all have to leave this planet one day. We don't really have to, we don't know when, so we should be prepared. That's very important. We should always consider we might die tomorrow. When you chant, think. Sometimes I think too, oh, suppose I'll die in 1 hour's time, so I should do my chanting properly. Think like that, because we don't know. Yeah, yesterday I was coming to school. A lady was driving in front of me, and she didn't, she was in rush, she was doing her hair and going at 50 kilometers, she was going 30, and I was going to school, I was getting late. So I was, getting frustrated. Yeah. And then, she was still going on because she was doing this, that, and all those things, she was getting ready there. Yeah. And then we entered motorway, and then she was still in front of me, and I was getting frustrated because I was getting late. And then, I tried to, I looked back, nothing, but I didn't look my right, and I tried to turn right. Then, big horn! Quickly turn back on the same. Oh, see, I'm just saying could have been gone yesterday. Gone for good. That motorway. So it can happen anytime. So we have to be serious about our chanting and remembering Krishna. Yeah. Yes, comments. Tilakni Mataji, anything you want to say? Yes, the final exam is end of life. Either we fail or pass. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, if we just do it just for the sake of showing others that I am a big devotee and this and that, I do that. Anybody can be a great devotee, whether he strips or washes the whole earth. So anything you do in the temple is as equal as deity worship. So do it sincerely. Yes, very important. We'll come to that stage. I know it's not easy. We have these enemies within us. You know what are our greatest enemies? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. These are our enemies within us. They are hiding, right? They are sitting in our intelligence, Prabhupada said. Sitting. Kam means lust. Kam, Krodh, anger. Kam, Krodh, Lobh means greed. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh. Moh means illusion. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh. Moh, something else, illusion. And Matsarya means envy. They are all here, not outside. Madness. So they are sitting here, no enemies are outside within us. So it's very hard. Yeah, I'm trying to fight these enemies, and you can't do it alone. You have to take shelter of your Guru and Vaishnavas. then you can fight this Maya. Otherwise, you can't do it alone. So yes, Mataji, thank you for that. Yeah, the test at the end of the life. Anyone else? All right. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanand.